Today we're going to talk about one of the most important accessories you can have for your smart home. Stay tuned and we'll talk about what it is. Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk with Troy, where we talk about everything tech, from home automation, drones, how-to videos, and reviews such as this one. I want to say from the start that this video is not sponsored by anybody. This is my own personal review of my own personal purchase. So let's get started. So I'm all about home automation, and as my channel grows, I'm sure you'll see more and more videos that talk about all the different types of home automation that I've already invested in. And so I find it fascinating and just kind of almost like a hobby for me to automate my home in different ways. So about 5 years ago, I was kind of eyeing out the smart thermostats, and I was looking at the ones that they had on the market. And of course, there's some good ones out there, of course, and they've actually gotten to be more than there were at the time 5 years ago. But the ones I think that were really in competition at the time were the Nest thermostat, which is now actually owned by Google, and then the Ecobee thermostat was out there at the time. And I think those were the two top contenders at the time when I was shopping around. I had to do a little bit of shopping and trying to decide which one was going to be best for me, because they both have unique ways that they operate. And so I wanted to make sure that I got the one that I thought was going to be best for our home. So as you can see from the channel, from the video title, I went ahead and purchased the Ecobee 3 smart thermostat. I know that there are other versions out there of the Ecobee, and so I've had this, like I said, for 5 years now, and I just wanted to do a review of the Ecobee smart thermostat, not just the Ecobee 3, because I think they've actually come out with some other cool products after this has come out. So I think the ones that they have now actually integrate, I know Alexa, I'm not sure if Google actually integrates into it as well. Although I will say both Alexa and Google actually can control the Ecobee no matter what model you have, but I'm saying they actually have it built into the wall now in some of their models. So this one that I bought does not have that feature, but it still works awesome 5 years later, and I would never go back to a analog thermostat at all. So what I liked, I think, the most about the Ecobee setup was that it had these sensors that you can put in various rooms. Most thermostats, of course, are mounted on a wall, and they're just there, like in a hallway, probably somewhere center location of your home. And it's going to take that temperature from that location only. So you might have cold spots or hot spots, depending on the season, within your home, and you kind of, jumble with the thermostat to get it what you want within that room, like for sleeping time or whatever. It gets to be a hassle. So when I saw this, where the sensors were actually located in the rooms and could read the temperatures within the rooms, I'm like, that's really a cool thought and a cool way to do it. And so they sell this. There's one sensor came with the original thermostat in my box, and then you could buy extra ones, 2 at a time, to be placed in other rooms around your home. So I have a total of 6 sensors in my home. And here's what they look like. They sit on a little stand, or you can, I think, mount them on a wall if you'd like to. They're not very big, and they actually have a motion detector as well as the temperature reading on them. And so you just set them in a location on a table or somewhere in the room, and it sends the information back to the thermostat wherever it's mounted. Let's go over some of the top features, and I'm going to kind of read from some of my notes so I don't forget anything. It has a nice, slick digital touchscreen display, which I like. So, it's not garish in any way sitting on your wall. but it's really nice and very responsive when you touch the screen. You know, it's not something that you have to scrape at or whatever. It also handles heat pump situations. We actually, this home, the first time I've ever experienced having a heat pump, and so it could handle a heat pump situation just fine. And it actually tells you how to set the wiring scheme up for that. And also it handles home humidifiers. About a year after we've had our Ecobee thermostat, we decided to get a whole house humidifier put on. And the installers, before I even knew it, actually had the wire into the Ecobee thermostat already. So they knew exactly where to place the wire, which was cool. So they had experience doing that, which I would say most people nowadays would know how to do that. Also, we talked about it utilizing the room sensors. So that was a big sell for me, to make sure that you could get the heat or the cooling in the room that you wanted. Now, make sure you understand, it's not actually sending the air any differently than it normally does through your registers, okay? But what it's doing is, if you want the temperature in a certain room at a certain time, it's going to keep running that heat or that air conditioner to get it to that temperature in that room, okay? So that could make your other rooms not what you want them to be. But for instance, while you're sleeping, you're not going to be down in the other rooms. And so it would work out just fine to do it that way. No one's going to be walking around, hopefully, during the night into another room that's not set to what you want it to be. They also have a nice application that's put together very well, very responsive, very organized, works within your home Wi-Fi network, or when you're out and about, just anywhere in the entire world. You could change your thermostat across the whole entire world, as long as you had a Wi-Fi connection. So that's cool. You can log on to control the Ecobee from the website. Also, it was important to me that it was compatible with Apple's HomeKit environment, which means that you could talk to it with Siri. So most of the things that I buy for my home automated devices have to be Apple HomeKit, because I just want that. That's the ecosystem that I've invested in. So that was important to me as well. It has, I mentioned Alexa and Google compatibility. So you can call out to your Google or Alexa speakers to change temperatures, or actually check the sensors within each room and say, hey, what's the temperature in such and so room? And they will respond back with what the temperature is. There's geofencing capabilities to whether if you drive up in your driveway and then you want your Ecobee to kick the temperature on, it'll do that for you. Easy installation instructions come within the box. It has the easy quick guide, start guides. It also comes with some wire labels that you can use when you're taking off your old thermostat, so you don't lose track of what each wire was for, and then place it in the correct location when you install your new Ecobee. So that's cool. And also you can find all the directions on their website as well, and I think they even have some installation videos, if I'm not mistaken. The thermostat is actually controlled. There's no batteries, so that's nice too. You do not have to be worried about the batteries running out. It runs off the electricity right from your air conditioning and heating unit. I will say that you will need to connect your Ecobee thermostat to a Wi-Fi connection within your home so that it can get to the weather information as well as the date and the time to make sure that your schedules run properly. So let's take a little look at the application, and I'll walk you through that, and then we will take you to the thermostat mounted on the wall and show you how it looks. So let's take a look at the Ecobee app within the iOS environment through Apple. Of course, they do make one application for the iPhone, and they also have a separate one for the iPad, which to me is actually a better version of the application. So here's the Ecobee app. When you go in, you're going to be met with My Home and just some basic information about your setup of your Ecobee environment. I have 6 sensors in my home, and they will be shown right there with the current temperatures in each room. The ones that are highlighted in white here are the ones that are actually active within the comfort setting that's currently running. So as you can see, this one labeled Ecobee is actually the thermostat mounted on the wall, and the living room. Both of these are downstairs, and you can see that there's, 3 degrees difference between those two rooms. So what Ecobee would do is take an average between these two sensors and try to keep the room between those two temperatures to make it comfortable for you. If you click on this, you will then be taken into the next screen, which has a lot more to look at. You can change your temperature here on the slide bar, just as you do right at the thermostat, by moving this circle up or down. Also, the second box here will show you your sensors as we saw before, and you can scroll through that, or you can hit see details and it will bring up some more settings. So there's a smart home away, which I do not utilize. I just let my schedule run on its own. There's also the follow me feature, which will allow you to have the sensors detect motion if you walk into a room. So if you like that feature, you can enable it. I don't use that feature either. And then, of course, you can see each sensor and you can scroll through them. And when you click on a sensor, you can add these sensors to a particular comfort setting. So I have 3 comfort settings: home, away, and sleep. And right now, because this bedroom is hardly ever used, I do not have it participating in the comfort setting right now. If I have guests come over, I add it to the sleep comfort setting. And you can change the name of the sensor, and it also has the little serial number on the back of each sensor so you know which one you're dealing with. So that's the sensor box. Here's a quick change area where you can actually change it to one of your home or away settings, and then turn the fan on or off or auto, whatever you'd like. And you could also click see details on this as well, and you can see other settings there. Of course, it'll tell you the weather if you click on that. That's what's cool about this. It actually takes the weather from the internet. So it'll give you the forecast, and it uses this information in conjunction with the thermostat. It's really cool. We're going to skip over Home IQ for now. I'm going to come back to that. Here's where you can set your schedule, and you can set all 7 days of the week with multiple steps along the way, utilizing the comfort settings that you want. And then if you want to make it easier, you could copy from one day to the next when you're setting it up originally. So really easy to set up your schedule. Here's where you can set up your comfort settings. I left mine as the default that it comes with. Now you can add other comfort settings if you need to. Down lower you have your reminders and alerts, which is cool. Here's your system settings, so where you can set it on heat, cool, auto, or aux, or off. And then you have some preferences. You can change the name of the device, how you would like your temperature displayed in Fahrenheit or Celsius, your heating range and your cooling range, and what happens when you hit hold. I just have it go until the next scheduled activity. It'll kick into my schedule at that point. By the way, all these settings, for the most part, except for the Home IQ, you can actually walk up to the thermostat and do all of this right on the thermostat screen itself. So you do not have to use the app if you don't want. And then the last box here is the About info, which will give you your serial number and all that information. We won't go into that. I did want to go back to the Home IQ. This is not on the actual iPhone app, but it is included here on the iPad version, as well as their website when you log into the website. It's really cool. You can go in here and it will load your usage data for your thermostat. Very helpful. It will try to estimate how much money you saved using your Ecobee, and it will give you actual dollar savings that they're estimating. So they're telling me on this screen, since I registered my Ecobee 5 years ago, that I have saved estimated $771 by using this. Now, this was December of 2015, as you can see. So it more than paid for itself. I think I paid $250 for the thermostat. So very pleased with that. And then it will tell you the runtime savings per month as you go through, and then the estimated savings that you're up to. And then there's also one community comparisons that you can go into and see kind of the average for your state and your area versus your home. And then home efficiency, top 53%. So we're kind of right in the middle. Now then they have a section called the system monitor, which you can actually watch and see on the graph. Let me expand this out a little bit. When your system turns on and off, in comparison with the graph below of your desired cool temperature, heat temperature. The outdoor temperature will show in white. I'm sorry, the indoor temperature shows in white and the outdoor temperature shows in green. So you can see and scroll through. It also will show you an area of how your schedule is set up. If you use the Follow Me feature, let me expand this out a little bit. Each of the sensors are listed. And you can see by when the bar is activated, that sensor has sensed motion in that particular room. And then there's a weather impact chart that they give you, which you can see how your heat is utilized and when the auxiliary heat comes on versus the daily average outdoor temperature, which is the actual line graph in black. And you can see that I used the air conditioning one time already in April. And then if you want to download the data, you can actually do that, and it'll actually download it to a spreadsheet for you. So that's kind of a tour of the iPad version of the Ecobee app. So I wanted to show you actually where we have the Ecobee mounted here on our wall. This is our first floor. And I will get a little close there. You can see that the screen is a nice glossy black, and it comes with a nice plate that you can put around where the existing hole was in your wall for the old thermostat. I will say the installation is not really difficult at all, especially if you don't have a heat pump. A heat pump is a little bit more tricky, but if you just, they give you wire labels, so when you dismantle the old one, then you can just label each wire as you install the Ecobee. And so you put the back plate on first, and then you can put the wires where they need to go, and then you just pop this front part on. As we will have seen in the application, the screen looks similar to what you would see in the iPad or iOS app, and I'm sure the Android app looks the same. You can adjust the setting of the temperature here just with a slider. This is a touch screen, and it'll show you your humidity value as it is currently if you have a humidifier set up in your house, and the current setting of the temperature that you have, or what the temperature would read here at the thermostat. Now, if it jumps later to the sensors, let's say upstairs in the bedroom, this would actually read the sensors upstairs. So you got to make sure that what you're looking at, when the time changes and it switches to other sensors, you're actually seeing the temperature of the sensors and not what you're seeing here at the thermostat. So that can be a little bit tricky when you're like, oh, it doesn't feel like that down here, but it's actually reading the sensors in the other rooms. You can go to the main menu here and do all of the things you can from the app. You can change it to heat, cool, auto aux the same way. You've got all of your sensors listed here that you can scroll through just like the application allows you to do. You can actually update your schedule here with your comfort settings. Here are your comfort settings. We've got home, away, and sleep. When you go into those, you can set your heat and your cooling setting for each thing, and then you can tell which sensors participate in that setting just by a checkbox. Very easy to change. Here's the sleep settings. 64 for the heat, 75 for the cool, and only one participating sensor, which is the master bedroom. There's a vacation mode. Here's your reminders and alerts that you can set, and here's some other settings and preferences: date and time, temperature display, screen brightness. There's a few other preferences that the app wouldn't have that the thermostat itself has right here on the wall. And then you've got your about, the name and the version, the serial number, and what have you. So very easy to control, nice touch screen. The weather is here, you can pull up, and then your quick changes. What's running, the heat right now is running. So super cool. So overall, I am very impressed with the Ecobee thermostat. I've had it now, like I said, for 5 years in this house, and it has done everything I expected it to do without any trouble. And they're always upgrading the app. I've had to call customer service, I think maybe one time for some assistance, and they answered my question right away. So they're very responsive, I find, to any type of technical issue calls that you need to make. So very impressed with the company. Highly recommend. I would give it 5 stars out of 5. Totally recommend it. And they've only made the products even better than the one that I have purchased here. Like I said, that I've had for 5 years now. They've come out with even better products. And so I hope that you were able to get some good information if you're shopping for a smart thermostat. Highly recommend the Ecobee type thermostats. I think you would really enjoy the sensors. I think that was a smart move. The Nest thermostat, of course, has its pros as well. And I just like having the ability to have each room the temperature that I want at the time when I want it. And these sensors make that happen. So I'd love to have you as a subscriber. If you are not yet, please hit that subscribe button below and hit the bell notification for new videos as they come out. And until next time, thanks for joining me with another edition of Tech Talk with Troy.